Hi guys, so I'm here today to talk with you about starting to work on your sketches for your hybrid animal project. So right now we are in the phase that I like to call the rough draft phase. So we are doing some loose sketches to get some ideas. These are all of the sketches we're doing right now are preparation. You know, any, I won't say any time, but often when artists make a more involved, longer piece of work, they need to take some time to plan and prepare and kind of troubleshoot at the beginning. It's much easier at this sketch phase to try out a bunch of different ideas, you know, and to not invest the time of completing an entire piece. So at this point, I want you guys really to be exploring possibilities, trying out some different things. I know in general, for instance, at this point, what I want my animal to be, the moon rabbit. I have an idea of what I want it to look like, but I'm going to try some different options. I might try some different poses for him. I've got right here, now you guys have done some research and you've got your Google Doc with your imagery in it that you can pull up. I've printed mine off so you could see it on my screen today. So I've got some different sort of poses, some close-ups even, so I can see the details of the face a little better. Again, I went with the hare instead of the rabbit because I thought the hare was more interesting and wild looking. So got more images of the hares, the sort of standing hare. I also have some pictures of the Luna moth, especially the wings, because I want to give it those beautiful wings. So I've actually done a couple sketches here that I want to show you guys. I was trying out a couple different ideas. This was before I totally settled on the idea of the Luna moth rabbit. So this is one that I thought about trying. You can see it's kind of the hare head and the general hare body, but it's been elongated to almost be like human proportions, and it has, you know, weird little human hands. Thought maybe putting a basket on its back like it was gathering cabbages or something. I do like the side view face. I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it shows some of the anatomy of the face in an interesting way. And it kind of adds some drama because the character's looking, you know, kind of outward. It makes you wonder what they're looking at. But I decided that I didn't want to go with this particular version of my animal. Let's see. Got another one here that I tried out that I decided against. So this is more of a kind of antlered, winged, kind of jackalope sort of creature. So this was, again, before I decided to do that Luna rabbit. I was just really trying to sketch the hair and see what it might be interesting to combine it with. It was more of a bat wing here than the bird wing. I did try out a bat winged one. I didn't like it as well as the other that I came up with. This was the design that I am most happy with right now. So you can see it's the moon rabbit design. He has the long sort of ears and the wings and the long legs and you know, the sort of feet. Again, I think this and the little antenna. This one, you know, kind of showed all the different aspects of the animal that I wanted to show. I don't know if I'm 100% happy with the pose here. I definitely think I need to think about how I want to put it on the page. And I also need to think about, you know, how I want to incorporate it in my environment, because these guys are not just going to be by themselves. They're going to be in an environment for your painting. So, you know, I advise you to take some time here as you're doing some brainstorming to, you know, think about how you want to sketch it, how you're going to incorporate the environment. You know, I would also think, you know, as you're doing your sketches, like, what kind of format do you envision this in? Kind of on my paper right now, this is sort of a square, but I think honestly, I would be better off with a longer, taller composition with more room, especially if I want it to be standing on some kind of rock. So I might switch it around and give that a try. I'm going to do some sketching on this guy in just a moment. Another part of what I want you guys to do in your sketchbook before we do the final painting is to start thinking about palette. So you know, what kind of palette would you like your painting to have? I know for mine it was going to be kind of cool, dark woods at night. So I wanted some of these dark sort of blue colors. I chose some of these lighter sort of blue-green sort of celadon colors to replicate the color of the Luna moth's wing, which is going to be the color of the whole rabbit. I figured I would probably need some yellow in, especially if I want to incorporate fireflies. I did want to have some moss, so I've got some mossy greens here too. And the kind of odd man out is this really light tint of like a sort of barely kind of red violet. So you can see that probably you can see here that I've done like just some strokes. I've given myself some notation here as well to show what colors I use to mix these. You know, I would say you don't have to feel limited to a color scheme, one of the color schemes that we talked about already. You could certainly use one of those color schemes. You know, they're going to be tried and true and work out well. I would encourage you to think about your animal's environment, any special coloration of the animal. You know, I would also encourage you to think, you know, since you have this ability to mix your colors, rather than just getting colors out of the palette, mix tints, mix tones, mix shades, you know, try, you know, even with the hues, try to mix your own hue. When we think of like kind of colors looking underdeveloped, it's those kind of Crayola colors that come pre-mixed in your kit. So mix your own version of the colors that you want to include in your painting. You can get a lot out of those kits if you just mix your color, okay? So next thing, I'm going to try to work on some sketches here. You guys are going to have a few days here. I want you to come up with at least 3 different sketches and something like this that shows the different color schemes that you want to incorporate in your painting. So I'm going to try to do another little sketch of this rabbit and give you an idea of how you might start something like this on your own. I'm just going to use the bottom of this paper. Another sketch of my moon rabbit here. All right. All right, so I'll try the Luna moth version again. That was kind of based more on the standing rabbit pose. So when I'm starting to sketch an animal, I try to start lightly with the biggest shapes that I see. In this case with my rabbit, you know, I see a sort of oval of the body, another oval for the hind area, smaller oval for the head, then maybe down to the ears and the legs. So let's see if we can start with just some simple shapes for this rabbit's body. So the body, and when I'm sketching like an oval, it's just kind of like those first steps when you're sketching a portrait. Like this is not the end version of this animal, so keep it light. I see the chest sort of moving in a slightly different direction, so I'm going to layer over that. Another kind of oval. Maybe another little oval for the head. I'm trying to keep this light and loose because I'm trying to figure out how this guy fits together. And it might be, you know, that I'm going to need to change this quite a lot before I'm satisfied with it. This, just like those initial drawings that we've done already with the portrait, is kind of like a framework for you to build on top of. It's not intended to be the last step. You're not gonna just keep on tracing over this mindlessly. You know, you're gonna look at it and really evaluate what you see. And what you notice is different. You're gonna allow yourself to change those things as you see them. This version of the hair is feeling a lot more bulky. So, you know, I'm going to get my basic shapes in first before I start altering anything. I see the other leg back here. And it's a little higher up. Okay, so I've got my back legs. Look for the front legs. All right, so these are kind of the basic shapes that I see when I look at this rabbit. You can see my sketch doesn't have a lot of detail in it. It's just kind of trying to fit the basic shapes together. And this is by no means like perfect at this point for what I need. So, you know, as I go back and I look at this, I can, you know, one thing I could do is lightly erase, you know. Another thing I might do is make my line harder and darker as I go up in layers and I become more certain of what I want. I probably will use a combination of those things as I continue to build my creature. All right, so here's maybe, I showed you one that I've already done of my moon rabbit. Here's maybe version 2 of my sketch of my moon rabbit. I do like this one because it's got some of the rocks and the background in it. I do feel like I still need to go like taller and narrower for the composition. So if I was probably doing this whole composition as a quick thumbnail, I like this tall and narrow, but I think I want to make like the pile of rocks that the creature is standing on a little bit more dramatically large. So I'm thinking more like, forgive my quick kind of stick version of my moon rabbit here. I'm thinking maybe zoom out even more. I've got my trees here, so I get a lot more environment, especially the rocks. I don't want maybe as much of the trees as I have up here. Maybe I could push it up even higher. I do feel like there needs to be sort of a big pile of rocks here that he's standing on, so to kind of make it feel like an old mossy forest. All right, give it a try. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.